Hello again, Star Wars players. Chris Gogolin here doing a quick video for everybody. We're going over the 2024 World Championship games. This is the top 8 matchup we're going to do commentary on today between Joe Olson and Eric Hunter. I do not have any details about the deck lists that I'm going to use for this matchup. We're just going to take it as if we were doing live commentary at the actual event, and our process to continue getting these uploaded. Thanks again to Tomas and Dan Tartaglione for recording all this stuff live in Germany for us. And we're going to watch the video here and see what happens. So we've got Eric on the bottom half of the screen here. He's playing My Kind of Scum. He has started Jabba's Haven, Power of the Hutt Virtual, I'm assuming, as well as No Bargain. No Bargain's an interesting card for this matchup. It's going to make all Rebels deploy +2, as long as there are no Imperials at Jabba's Palace sites. Well, they'll deploy +2 at Jabba's Palace sites, as long as there are no Imperials there. As for Joe up here, he's playing HITCO. He is the chosen one. He's got Wackling and Like My Father Before Me as his 2 effects that he's starting with, as well as the Luke epic event there. You can go ahead and make your own joke about whether or not there's pod racing in the deck. All right, so let's get this fired up and off and underway. I may pause it periodically if I have to. If I have to look up a card or something like that, just to sometimes see the clear image. These guys are going to get underway here. We're going to kind of just, they're counting cards, they're counting decks. All right, so Joe's got his opening hand, which he's going to reveal to us. We can see he's got Yoda's Hut. He's got Jedi Levitation. That looks like Jedi Levitation as well as Meditation. There's just sorry about the mess combo. Clash, Ascents, and Anakin Skywalker and a Run Luke Run. That is a god-awful hand. I mean, having the sight is nice without having to waste anything to pulling on it, but to have 0 characters in your opening hand, right? There were 0 characters in there. In a deck that typically runs, 16 to 18 characters, 5 copies of Luke at least, plus multiple copies of, EPPOB, Lando Scoundrel, some version of Leia, Ahsoka, probably, some other Captain Hera characters or Corran Horn, stuff like that in there too, depending on whether he has any type of space package or not. But that's a rough start and could certainly influence the outcome of said match. Eric's got a couple of Twi'lek advisors, so he's going to get the sail barge site, the passenger deck, out very quickly. That's an Aura Sing, a Dr. E combo, a Dark Time, a Barrier, a Proxima, and a Tentacle in there. So certainly a much better start for Eric. We would expect to see him be able to get his audience chamber out, get set up a little bit faster here. And Joe's not going to do much turn 1. Joe's going to basically activate, pull, and he started Wackling too. So he's not playing the docking bay polars either. So he's not really going to have any ability to look through his deck to even see, hey, should I be drawn for stuff? Are there locations? Are there characters in here? Love the playmat, by the way. Excellent playmat that they're working off of here. Eric's going to get Nal Hutta. He's going to use Jabba's Palace to pull out the lower passages. The audience chamber was not there. There's a little bit of a speed bump for him. Otherwise, normally he would pull, potentially, he could pull the audience chamber, pull Jabba. I mean, he activated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 for him is 6. It's not a lot, turn 1. And again, No Bargain helps against a lot of characters. It does not help against Luke, though, because his deploy is equal to 6, so it can't be modified. And Joe's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 for himself is 8. I think he gets 1 off of this card as well. So he would have plenty going for him there. Eric might just play this slow. He is. He's just going to play it slow. He drops the tentacle from hand. He's going to draw a couple. You know, he got some locations out. Maybe he'll draw to see if he can find the audience chamber. He saves 2. We can't see what he just picked up, though. And I'm guessing he also didn't play the Twi'lek to pull the passenger deck. So either that wasn't there either. In which case, then, that's a rough activation for him with those 6 force. And Joe's just going straight to draw. He drops Yoda's hut and just starts drawing. And again, it's the downside to not being able to pull things like docking base. It saves you a couple card slots, I guess, if you're just taking, you know, the 1 activation. So there's the audience chamber. Oh, the passenger deck is on the bottom now. Okay. So he will Twi'lek to get that out. So Eric's getting himself a good chunk of force here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1 for him is 14 right now. And then once he gets some guys down, Power of the Hut will let him activate 1 on his opponent's turn. So he's going to have a good amount of force to work with. Whereas Joe's only getting 2, 4, 6. Well, he's getting a bunch of icons from Eric, so that's actually helping him. He's only giving himself 6, plus 1 from Walkling, but he's also getting 5 from his opponent, so it's not a dire situation. The dire situation is he had 0 characters in his hand, and he basically just activated and drew 4 or 5 cards. We don't know what he picked up. We're hoping, for his sake, to make this an actual interesting matchup, that he did draw a couple of characters. And Eric is giving him a verify, so I'm guessing he used Nal Hutta to figure out what to pull, what was there, what was available before playing the Twi'lek to get the flagship. I'm sorry, to get the passenger deck, rather. Now he's counting what his opponent might have to come down with him. And again, HITCO is a deck that is known to be very ground heavy, strong ground beatdown potentials with Luke, Clash, Run Luke, Run, what Battle Destiny adders. It's kind of what HITCO wants to do. My kind of scum is also very strong at battling. It can get up to some pretty crazy power totals. We did not see who his rep was, so I don't know for certain. By the time the video started, they had already had the board set up. Maybe he just told him. We haven't really gotten a verify or anything to know exactly who his rep might be. And Eric's just going to draw a couple here as well. So a very slow start to this game. Both players not wanting to risk getting themselves into a bad situation. And I'd have to imagine Eric at this point is possibly over the hand limit with how many cards he's drawn here. Maybe he's just at it. At exactly like 14 or 15 and making it so it's not worth Joe's time to pull the shield and pay 3 to put his hand back. When you see your opponent start drawing kind of frantically like that, sometimes that might actually be helping them, right? You're dumping all the crap out of their hand, giving them the ability to redraw some cards. Or is your opponent just sitting there waiting on you to do something? Eric does pull There Is No Try as well for his second shield pull, so he's got a grabber and There Is No Try. Meanwhile, Joe has his grabber plus aim high. Looks like Eric saved about 7, and he'll get about, 14 or 15 more, we said? 10, 12, 13, 14. So he's going to have over 20 force to work with here. Although Joe's got a mountain in front of him as well because he saved a couple from last turn. I think he saved 3, and I think he just activated, 14? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Walkling is 13. 1 for him is 14. Yeah, at least. Let me go look up this card real quick. There's like 4 things that his Destiny card does. So I just want to go look that up real fast. And we're going to use Gem for that. We'll just pull it over here so you guys can all see too. So it subtracts from their force activation. Okay, so you're not getting extra activation, and it's only for battlegrounds you occupy. Right. Okay. Then you can relocate and do all that kind of stuff and cancel you are beaten. Okay. So, yeah, so Joe's getting 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Walkling is 12, so he's getting 13. Plus he had 3 saved, so he's got plenty to work with here. Let's resume. All right. There's 6 right off the bat. Luke with lightsaber from hand to the audience chamber. No response. And there's 4 more for Yoda, who does not get a modifier there. Eric pulls his 3rd shield, pulls Secret Plans. So if he wants to retrieve the one, there's Meditation as well on Luke. That could potentially add him a Battle Destiny. It also makes Aliens power -1, I believe. Aliens here are power -1. They're also forfeit -2 if they are a leader, maintenance, or EPP card. Okay, so that could certainly make some things a little differently there. Joe's going to pull the lightsaber from deck instead of playing the one from hand. Eric's going to let him go back and do that instead with Like My Father. And then at some point he's going to play a card and pull the Chasm out with Our Only Hope from hand here, which is going to get stacked on Tentacle. Just to keep that from cycling and keep that from moving around. So, Meditation's a very strong card in this matchup. Aliens are all power -1 here, which is big. Subtracting from their forfeit, because you're going to have a lot of them being leaders or EPPs. And if it's Thok and Thugged, you also have maintenance cards there, so that could also make them power -1, forfeit -2, which could certainly prevent a lot of battle damage / overflow. And if they have more characters in the battle than you do, you can also add a Battle Destiny, but then you lose the effect. Eric's going to play, that's the I don't ask for anything twice, which will get the first light out of his deck. You can get the first light or Voss. That's the used version. Once per game, it exchanges 2 cards in hand with any 1 card in lost pile. So basically, it's a 3-for-1 trade because it's a lost interrupt, plus you're pitching 2 cards from hand to get something really good out of your lost pile. Joe also deployed something on the site. I'm going to back up for a second because I missed what he put down on the site there. Is that Unita? It can't be. He wouldn't have put Unita down. Scanner Tex. I think that's Scanner Tex. Same battleground, opponent may not cancel or reduce your force drains here. Could be pretty big because that's what MKOS kind of sometimes can do, is stack a copy of their rep. It can cancel a force drain or a Battle Destiny just drawn. Usually they want to use it more for the Battle Destiny aspect to prevent them from having to lose anything. But in this situation, I mean, if you wanted to buy yourself a little more time, if you're not going to be battling, you could stack a guy to cancel a drain of 3. Well, this is an hour-long game. Let's jump back ahead here. All right. So Eric's going to have a mountain of force to work with here. He can basically deploy whatever he wants. He can dump half his hand here in this situation. I saw an Ortug. There's a Bib Fortuna. There's a Jabba. There's a Scum. Hondo. Gonna guess. There's a Thok and Thug. Okay, so gonna guess it's Thok and Thug, and he's playing Gamorreans. Can certainly generate quite a bit of power there. But I mean, Lightside's power 14 plus potentially 2 Battle Destiny if they're so inclined. And from looking at Joe's opening hand earlier, we know he's got a Clash. We know he's got a Sorry About the Mess combo. And he's got several Force saved. So he can also do some tricks here and, you know, manipulate the outcome of the battle a little bit. Plus Meditation's also subtracting from Darkside's total power. So now you have to ask yourself, if you're Eric, do you just ignore the Audience Chamber, eat the drain of 3, set up something in space, and at 2 other sites here, flip your objective? Or is this a situation where you just drop Jabba and Scum and like 7 other people and just go to town? Well, as if Eric didn't already have everything he might want in his hand to begin with, he's now going to play Force Push to put 2 cards back, getting him well over 20 Force, to pick the other best card of the 20 cards that was in there. All right, so he's paying 4. Who are we starting with? We're starting with Chow. He paid 4 for Chow because Scum and stuff is not out yet. He'll go get a non-unique. Was there not a non-unique in there? There's no non-unique in there. Now he's going to use Jabba, who's -1. Use Jabba to pull Scum. So now his guys are deploy -2. He's going to pay 2 with power of the Hut. And that's going to get him Bib Fortuna. Bib cancels Jabba's game text now. So you do it in this order. Jabba pulls Scum, and then power of the Hut then pulls Bib, which then cancels Jabba's text. So you can't double anybody's power. This particular Bib, though, while with 2 aliens, adds a Battle Destiny. So you're adding a Destiny, so he's already up to 2 Battle Destiny there. That Bib also makes you able to Force Drain +1 at other Tatooine battlegrounds. All right. That's cost him a whopping 9 Force. He's still got a pile to work with here. Ideally, he would like to flip because it'll make each of his Battle Destiny draws +2 because Jabba and Bib are together. That's on the backside of my kind of Scum. While they're on table, Battle Destiny draws are each +2. So he's drawing 2 Destiny at least. There are other cards that could add additional Destinies. You got the Interrupt like Shattered Hope, which we saw him playing earlier when he was thumbing through his deck. You also have all kinds of other characters that add Battle Destiny draws. So you're drawing 2 or 3 Destiny. Your Destiny draws are +2 apiece. Like, it can add up real fast. But he doesn't have a lot of power there so far. Remember, each of those guys is power -1. And forfeit -2 because they're all leaders. He's going to put Ortug at an adjacent site. And there is the alien mob, which should flip the objective now. So Ortug, while at a Jabba's Palace site, your other Gamorreans are deploy -1 and forfeit +3. Doesn't have to be at the audience chamber, just any Jabba's Palace site. His permanent weapon is the axe, which works like a standard EPP weapon. Draw, Destiny, Destiny +1 greater than defense value, target hit, forfeit 0. The alien mob counts as a version of your rep species, so you don't have to play generic Gamorreans, and they have much better game text. And that should flip the objective now, because my kind of scum flip this card. If you occupy 2 battleground sites, must occupy a 3rd with a non-unique alien of your rep species, because a non-Tatooine location is on table. So he's got 3 battlegrounds occupied, including one of a non-unique that's a rep species, so this is going to flip his objective. He's going to Twi'lek to deploy a leader to the audience chamber. There is a Thaken Thug in his deck. Oh, Ortug's already on table. There you go. Now he's getting the Thaken Thug out. All right. Now this is where it gets a little annoying with this particular matchup, because Thaken Thug has the built-in game text that says your alien leaders present may not be targeted by weapons. And because he's your rep chosen from the objective, your rep is also a leader. So all 4 of those guys are leaders. None of them can be targeted by weapons. And when they can't be targeted by weapons and you can use the objective to cancel Battle Destiny draws, you kind of really cut into those paths of removal, as we call it in the game, and really eliminate those. Not always a good thing. Now, I expect that we'll see Thaken Thug potentially, if there is a battle here, he will probably use the Clash of Sabers to exclude Thaken Thug, and then he can swing at somebody else, most likely Bib. He's the easiest one to hit. May go for Jabba just because it's maybe a better forfeit ratio. And then play the Sorry About the Mess to try and take him out of the battle too, assuming Eric doesn't put down any more characters, which I think he can afford to still put down a couple more. So that goes there. And Thok and Thug are also super cheap, because Ortug makes him deploy minus, Scum makes him deploy minus, and Chow makes him deploy cheaper. There's a Jango Fett, super cheap. There's 2 more Force for a Lady Proxima. Yeah. This is a lot. Well, I mean, the power is a little bit lower. They're all -1. And he is going to go ahead, it looks like, and start a fight here. So you've got Proxima adding a Battle Destiny because he's with 2 aliens. Bib's adding a Battle Destiny because he's with 2 aliens. Jango's adding a Battle Destiny because he's with the Jedi. And then you've got Natural Ability, and I don't think Thok and Thug do anything that'll help there, so no. So right now he's getting 4 Battle Destiny, and because Bib and Jabba are together, they're each +2. Kinda gross. We do know Joe's going to have some tricks here. We're going to start with Quite a Mercenary. He did not find anything he could upload. But we are going to get a look at his deck here. It does look like he's running a local defense and a wild card for his space package. Plenty of Lukes in there, bionic hands, all that other fun stuff going on in there. I don't know why he just moved Django down to the bottom like that, like he's excluded, but Joe's really shuffling there. And Eric's going to give it a tap. Oh, Django's the only one he can swing at. That's why he's down there at the bottom, because Django's the only one who's not a leader in that situation. Okay, so he's going to swing at Django. He's going to sorry about the mess. He's going to throw away the Death Star 2 site. Eric has no answer for that. Django's removed. We're caught up now. All right. That takes away one of the Battle Destiny and a little bit of power. He's going to activate the meditation, so he's going to add a Destiny of his own. And now we're going to get the Clash on Proxima to exclude her. All right, so this isn't as terrible now. He's managed to take out 2 of the extra Battle Destiny draws. He's getting 1 from Bib. And then as far as power goes, Fucking Thug is 8. Bib is only 2, so that's 10. Jabba is a 3, so that's 13. And Chal is a 2, so that's 15. So each minus 1. So that's actually only 11. So it's 11 and 2 Destiny that are each plus 2, up against actually what's 14 and 2 Battle Destiny. So Joe's actually in a very good position now. From a battle that looked really bad on paper just a minute ago, a sorry about the mess and a clash later, he's going to grab the clash. All right. Now, with each draw being plus 2, pretty good chance he's going to clear greater than 7, which means Luke is going. At least Luke is going to die, if not both characters. Well, I mean, Yoda's immune, but at the very least, it seems likely that Luke is going to die. So that's why he's going to go ahead and just use the meditation, take out as many characters as he can. He's also going to play the Anakin Skywalker to add a Destiny to attrition. So he's going to draw. Hang on, let's go back. I missed what Eric drew. Alright, so we're drawing some Destiny, right? There's the Anakin again. He drew a Zuckist and Mist Hunter. He's going to stack to cancel the 6. He draws another 6, and then a Destiny to Attrition, which is a Luke, which he's going to take into hand to cause a redraw. Alright, so Eric has a total Battle Destiny of 5, plus 4 is going to give him a total of 9. Gets him up to about 20. Joe has a Battle Destiny there of 4, which gets him to 18, approximately, if I'm doing my math right. 8 and 6, 14, plus 4 is 18. But he's also going to add another 6 in attrition. So he's going to have 10 attrition here. And all of these guys are Django's hit and forfeit 0. And because of meditation, though all 4 of them are leaders, so they're each forfeit minus 2. So Eric's losing multiple characters here. And Joe only has to lose. He's going to lose the battle, I think, so he has to stack a card. Oh, I'm sorry, he's got Django down there. Oh, no, Django's gone. He got sorry about the mess. Proxima's also still down there, but she's only power 1, so that's not going to change anything. So I think Eric loses the battle and has to stack a card. And he does stack the 4. Joe will then peek at the top 2 cards of his reserve deck, take one into hand. One of them was an Anakin Skywalker. I didn't get to see what the other one was. You then shuffled the deck there. And basically, Jabba's going to get forfeited. Scanner Tech says they can't have their forfeit values increased. Also, total battle destiny may not be increased. Nothing modified that. So he's got to lose 10. And he basically just lost everybody. That doesn't seem right to me. That he's just losing Yoda. He's got 9 in attrition, I think. Now, because of the 10 in attrition, Eric can lose everybody. Because Chow's only forfeit 2. Bib is only forfeit 1. What am I missing? Why does Luke get to live? I don't know. Somebody watching this later can correct me in the comments. Unless I miscounted what he drew. Or Joe, total battle destiny may not be increased. He added to each of the draws. Unless Joe played something that prevented that from happening. But I didn't see him play anything that would prevent battle destiny draws from getting modified there, so. It's obviously a huge impact on the game, right? If Luke isn't there and Yoda's left there, or if both characters are gone, it will change the impact of the game significantly. Let's go back. Let's try and figure this out, right? Because they both start going to draw on Destiny here, and they do it kind of wonky because they do it simultaneously. Right? He plays the Anakin to add the battle destiny, or add the destiny to attrition. Okay, we're ready to draw. Right, because Bib, while with 2 alien... Oh, Bib only adds the destiny to attrition, not the battle destiny. I misread that. That's what we're missing. Okay, I'm good. We're caught up. Sorry about that. That makes a whole big difference. Yes, so it's a destiny to attrition. For some reason, I thought Bib added a battle destiny. That'd be really good. So, all right, so he's only getting 3 battle destiny, and I had that all wrong earlier. Duly noted. See, there's a lot going on with these cards. And when you can't actually just click on the actual card and see it, it does make it a little more challenging. Okay, so now Luke gets to live. All these guys die. Let's get back to the action. Joe's got a handful of characters and an Unita. He's got Ortug and the alien mob there. All right, looks like he's just thinking here. Let's try and speed this up a little bit. Still thinking. Still counting his force. 3 minutes later. Redeploys Yoda. There's the Unita Pick up the meditation, put the meditation back on Luke, and we're right back where we started a minute ago, with Luke and Yoda in the audience chamber in a pretty good position. Proxima is clashed until the end of Joe's turn. Joe's going, I guess, to draw phase. He's going to retrieve something. Otherwise, he's cheating because you're not allowed to look at your lost pile. Now he's going to try and retrieve a card here. He's going to try and retrieve Yoda. And he's going to pay 1 because of scum to do it. Give his opponent the option to stack a card from hand to put Yoda out of play. Eric will decline. And Joe's just going to draw a handful. Reload. And he's going to save 5 or 6 force in the process. Well, he's down to 4. Proxima's back. And we're ready to go. Eric picked up his lost pile, so I assume he's using his Jabba's Haven. Unless he just moved his lost pile. Nope. He's going to retrieve. Alright, so here's the other fun interaction with this particular deck with the alien mob. The alien mob, once per turn, if fearless and inventive on table, so the flip side of the objective is on the table, and you just retrieved force, may place top card of used pile on force pile. So it kind of negates the force usage here. So you'd have to pay 1 for aim high to retrieve Jango Fett into hand, but then he triggers the alien mob text and gets to put that card right back on top of his force pile. So it essentially makes it free. It can also be used a little more manipulatively later on with scum and villainy. When you're first strike or something like that, you battle, then you pay 1 and retrieve a card. And then if you just retrieved a card, you move the card you retrieved to the top of your force pile. So then potentially you could then draw it into hand at the end of your turn to get those characters back that you lost the battle before. It makes my kind of scum a very strong deck when it gets these types of things rolling. But, you know, as it is, they're still aliens, right? They're still cards that get around them. Sorry about the Mass and Clash of Sabers. You know, if Joe didn't have those in hand, he was going to get steamrolled. He had some counters, and of course he had to anticipate, knowing what this kind of deck does, that if I put Luke there and I put Yoda there, he's probably going to drop 4 or 5 characters at least on me and battle here. So I better have an answer for that before I, you know, stick my neck out there. Alright, so he's going to activate a bunch of force. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus 1 for him is 14. And he had 2 saved, so he's got 16 force. Scum is still in effect. Everybody else is dead, though. Proxima can reveal 3 cards in the control phase here. No battle plan out or anything, so he is going to drain for 1 over there, which gets a Luke. She reveals 3. We see Prince, we see Twi'lek, and I think that's another alien mob. So he takes the Prince. And then he'll shuffle his reserve deck here. Getting a glimpse at Joe's hand, we see Daughter of Skywalker, EPP Obi, and I think that's an EPP Han. All right, there's a first light for 4. Going to Nal Hutta. He'll put a Dr. E on it for 3. Can't see how much force Eric has left at this point. He's spending 3 more. He's not spending 3 more. Will he just move Proxima away and give up the drain and let Scum get canceled? Is he going to move into the audience chamber with the other 2 characters who are likely just going to end up all being dead real soon too and possibly getting beat down? Again, we can't see Eric's hand to know what defensive cards he has. Does he have a Stunning Leader? Does he have, does he have a Gick or something like that? Yeah, he's got nothing. Proxima's going to run away, live to fight another day, or not at all. And he's just going to take his, I'm sure he'll pull Battle Plan or Battle Order here in a second. He'll take his, drains of 1 and 1. His opponent will pay to drain for 3 and retrieve a card with the objective. And Eric's going to draw a couple and save 3 force. Joe's going to stack Our Only Hope during Eric's draw phase to move Prophecy to the audience chamber. That will give him 1 additional force at the start because he did it before his activation actions. It will also increase that drain to 4, and that drain cannot be canceled because of scanner text. And we can't see shields here, but we're going to assume that Eric is going to pull Battle Order. Here he goes. Yep, there it is down there at the bottom. Okay. So he's used all 4 of his natural shield pulls at this point. Joe gets to peek at the top card of his reserve deck. He's going to pay 3 and drain for 4. And then he's going to pay 4 and cancel Scum. He's going to do that first. He's going to pay 4 and cancel Scum. Then he's going to pay 3 and drain for 4 to bury the Scum and Villainy. So we saw Twi'lek, Thok and Thug, Alien Mob, and another Twi'lek. So a good turn for Joe here. He's got a commanding position with that drain in the audience chamber. Scum and Villainy now being canceled. It's going to slow down Eric's retrieval options significantly. And if you're Joe, well, now you can start thinking about differential, right? You're in a commanding position. Your opponent, you've killed a handful of his characters. Obviously, he still has plenty more. Do you have enough to go battle in space and clear that first light and then not pay to drain? Do you go take Jabba's palace and just get a second drain over here and just leave these guys alone and be like, that's fine. Drain for 1, I'm good. You're doing 3 damage and retrieving 1. He's doing 2 damage, and potentially he can retrieve an alien mob. But he's got certainly way more cards in the lost pile than you do. So you could definitely play this one for just a differential and just I'm just going to take a win. If he's got enough force here, we know he's got an Obi, we know he's got a daughter in hand. He could just drop an Obi in battle and take a swing and try and clear 2 more characters out of there. Win another battle. Stack another card. depending on what he's got to work with there. I think he only has about 9 force left because of paying to cancel scum. So honestly, Joe's his best option at this point might really just be just retrieve a force, save a few cards, and just be content trading drains for a minute here. The prophecy is going to move because he will have greater than 6 ability or greater than 5 total ability when he drains here. So he'll be down to draining for 3, but it'll keep moving back and forth. If he has another Our Only Hope, he can obviously stack that, lose a card to increase the loss by 1 on the other side too. So while Joe's mulling over his options. All right, we're going to go to draw phase. He's going to try and retrieve the Sorry About the Mess. Eric's going to stack an Ortug from hand, which will put the Sorry About the Mess out of play. Joe then gets to peek at the top 2 cards. One of them was Ahsoka. Honestly, the other one looked like a controlled tunnel vision, but that's the beauty of having this be. Yeah, that's a controlled tunnel vision, I think. It's a solid card to pick up. Get you any other card you want next turn. Although the Ahsoka's really good too. I don't think characters are his problem anymore. He had no characters to start the game. He found them pretty quick. So Eric drains for 1 and 1. We see a Sense combo. And we see another copy of Yoda hit the loss pile. He's going to pay 1 to retrieve an alien mob. With his objective, there is an alien mob on table, so that basically goes right to his force pile. He reveals the top 2 cards of his deck with Proxima. He doesn't have 3, so Proxima can't take 1. All he can do is check the Destiny that look like a Shattered Hope, which is a Destiny 3, and a EPP Mara. Not ideal if you were trying to battle. But what we may see him do here is, deploy 2 or 3 guys to the audience chamber and then move that stack over. And if nothing else, force Joe to commit. He's asking for a count right now. I guess he wants to know how bad the damage might be going into game 2, potentially, if he just, Because obviously that's a thing, right? If you're draining for 2 and your opponent is losing from hand and then retrieving 1 on his turn, like you're actually helping his differential because he's putting cards from his hand back into his deck, plus like my father also lets him put a card back. So if, Eric gets into a position here where he's just going to start, trying to end his game quickly before Joe can just start dumping what looks like a pretty large amount of cards in his hand over there. He's probably got 12 or 13 cards at least. It's hard to tell these days. People double shielding and stuff like that sometimes. Eric's thinking. Eric's thinking. He's counting. He's thinking. Now he's going to spend 4. He's going to put the Thok and Thug from the objective to the audience chamber. He's going to drop the Django Fett that he retrieved a couple of turns earlier. He's going to drop an Aura Sing with Blaster Rifle for 4. And then I think he's just going to draw. Yep, he's just going to draw. He's just going to stack some guys and block the drain and just try and stall, buy a little more time, try and do a little bit more damage. Make Joe put a few more cards from his hand on the table. Take another turn or two of drains, that kind of stuff. Just try and whittle that number down a little bit. Joe's going to retrieve once per game a card with Anakin into hand, and he's going to get back the Anakin Skywalker. So he can now add a Destiny to attrition again. And he'll pay the maintenance on Thok and Thug, and then activate one with Power of the Hut. Now, if you're Joe, I guess the question is, do you feel comfortable just going at it with what you've got here? Do you need to activate deploy anymore, right? Meditation is in effect currently because he's got more characters there than you. He's got 3. So you're subtracting 1 from each of their power. So you're basically taking 3 power away. I think it's a total of 16. Now he's down to 13. If you battle proactively, Yoda should still be 14 because you have exactly 2 Jedi on the table. Yeah, so you're 14 to his 13. Obviously, Aura gets to shoot, but you know the top 2 cards of his deck currently, one of them he activated, but the top 2 cards were low, so chances are he misses, assuming you don't have a Blaster Deflection, which I would find that hard to believe, given how many cards are in Joe's hand at this point. He can also ditch the Meditation to add a Battle Destiny, and then they're each getting 2. Darkseid is not adding to their total or to their Destiny draws because Bib and Jabba are not on the table. One of them could get canceled because of the objective, unless he's got an interrupt to protect against that. So Joe doesn't necessarily need to deploy anything else, depending on what he's content to give up here. On the other side of the, he could obviously just drop 2 or 3 more characters and just be like, let's just overwhelm this site completely. He could go next door too and battle in both spots. Interesting enough, if he's got the Run Luke Run, he could drop 2 characters over there, battle Run Luke Run, and pick off those guys. Pick off Ortug and Lady Proxima over there, and then just slide Yoda away. The prophecy is over there, so. All right, Joe's bringing the fight. He's got Obi with lightsaber just deployed. There's a couple more. There's an Ahsoka Tano. Adding some more power. Now she's subtracting 1 from each of those draws. Yeah, Joe still has 12 cards in hand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. So he was full up on cards here. He's battling. He's swinging. He hits Aura Sing. Luckily. Aura's going to take a shot back. There's going to get a Blaster Deflection. No surprise there. Obi's going to take a swing at Django. Hey, there's a Jedi Luke. So Django's hit and forfeit 0. You don't even need the Anakin at this point. Yep, he did have an EPP Han in there. Okay. Now, he did play the Anakin Skywalker. I'm guessing he used it the other way, because he only has 2 cards left in his reserve deck. Cancel the game text of a character of ability less than 4. You could cancel Django's game text to prevent him from adding the Destiny. As I'm thinking what he may have done there. So he draws a 5. Does Eric want to cancel that? He will. The 5 is now canceled. So he gets no Battle Destiny. Darkseid drew a Shattered Hope and a Dark Time for a total of 7, each -1, bringing them down to 5. That's fine. That's EPP Obi, who I'm sure he has another one in his hand at this point. But we're looking at 8. Yoda's power minus. Yoda's only 3, so he's got 11, and then 10 more from them, so he's at 21 to 16, and 7 is 23. This meditation, the first part of meditation works all the time, so they're each power -1. So they're 13, and 7 is 20. So I think light side still wins the battle, 21 to 20. Oh, and I'm guessing he did not play Anakin Skywalker the way I thought he did, to cancel somebody's game text to prevent the Destiny draw. I don't know if he canceled Thok and Thug's game text or what the deal was there. But he's going to win the battle. He's going to stack a card. What would have been the advantage to canceling Thok and Thug's game text? Did he add to power? I don't think he added to power. Yeah. He still loses. He stacks the card. Now he peaks at the top 2 because there aren't 2 there. He then can't take one into hand, I think is what we're pantomiming here. Charades is fun. Oh, now the active judge is going to pick up the card and look at it. Because he's failing to meet the requirements. It's kind of the same thing with Proxima, right? You look at the cards. Because it doesn't say up to 2. It says you have to look at 2. So because he doesn't have 2, the cost trigger there fails. Obi dies. Aura, Django. He uploads Boba Fett when Django leaves the table. Thok and Thug die. We can see Eric's got 4 or 5 characters in hand. Looks like he's gonna move. He's gonna move Ahsoka over to Jabba's palace to get a second drain. Okay. Again, likely he's got that run, Luke, run. So he's gonna try and It would have to. He's going to pay one to retrieve one, and Eric's going to stack an Uta Guta from hand to put it out of play instead. Cuts the differential down by one, and also just, prevents your opponent from using that card against you again. And now we'll see if... Now Eric's actually going to play an Uta Guta solo to try and go get a non-unique. Okay. And then it looks like Joe put a card from hand down with Like My Father, because I don't think he has done that. This might be the first time he's actually done that this game. We're only a couple of turns in, actually. All this action is... I mean, the first two turns was basically just activate, draw. And then, all the action was from, like, turns 3 through 5 here. I think we're starting turn 6 now. Let's take that back for a second. Let's see if we can figure out just how much Eric activated here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Eric activates 13 and saves 1. So he's got 14 total left down to work with. And I think I saw about 7 or 8 cards in hand. Without Scum, without Chal, 13 isn't a whole lot here. He's going to save a couple more. Okay. He's going to drain for 2 and 1 because Prophecy is still there. If you're trying to maximize differential, this could be a game where, maybe we see Eric will put some people over here on Endor, right? Deploy a guy or two over here and then walk them over. And then just use these as your 2 battlegrounds to get around simple tricks. Oh, someone just bumped the camera. Well, that's going to make things interesting. There goes the wild card for 1. There goes Captain Hera and the Our Most Desperate Hour. I'm going to guess it was Eric because he's the one moving around. Proxima checks his deck. It's 3, 4, 5. Joe looks like he's sitting on about 17 or 18 left face down there. Yeah, he is going to go off planet here. Deploys an alien mob. When he's deployed, he can move a copy of your rep. You can either retrieve a rep or place a rep stacked on your objective in used pile. So he's going to go ahead and place the one there that was stacked into the used pile. He's also going to deploy a copy of the Prince. It's been 4 more for a Hondo. Then he's going to move the Prince over. So it's kind of what I was just theorizing the minute before. Eric clearly seeing this game is not going his way. Can't really compete with that stack in the audience chamber and all the tricks and stuff Joe's got in hand at this point. But what he can do is he can cut some differential and he can spread this out a little bit and try and either, cut some cards down or force Joe to put more stuff out of his hand onto the table. Maybe that means then he can't pay to drain in both spots, and obviously that extends the game, which gives Eric more time to get a couple more drains in. Because, yeah, I mean, if you're only activating... What did he activate? Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 from Prophecy, 14 from Walkley. 1 for him is 15 total. And he's going to save. So he activated 14, I think, and he's going to save 4. So he's got right in that 18, 19 range of cards left down. This is a good move by Eric, right? He's putting some more pressure on his opponent to not just sit back. If he just sits back, obviously, right, we trade, it's drain 3, drain 2, move Prophecy. I drain for 1 and 1, whatever, and go. By this, he's kind of spreading this out a little bit. Obviously, we have to assume Eric has something, whether it's a barrier or a Gick or both, to absorb some battle damage here because, you know, otherwise an EPP and another guy are coming down and causing some overflow. And it could be pretty disastrous and end the game right now. So we're going to have to conclude Eric's got some tricks of his own in his hand, some type of battle defense or evasion or mitigation with the Gick. All right, Joe's going to save 3. We see the Obi, we see the Han, we see the daughter. He's going to pay 3. He'll drain for 3 in the audience chamber and move the Prophecy. And no extra shields available to Eric either. It means no ultimatum, so he did lose all 3. Joe's thinking. He was thinking about draining for 2. I think he's opting not to do that at this point. He's still on the 7 side, so he can't battle for free. So he would need, 5 for Obi, 4 for another character is 9. 1 to battle is 10. He's going to go look for a shield. He's going to go get Don't Do That Again to check his destinies. Yep. He's going to spend his 3rd shield pull on Don't Do That Again. He's going to look for an immediate effect. It's a Luke. Oh, they're all 6s. All right. It's a Luke, an escape pod, and a Run, Luke, Run. 6, 6, 6. Because Joe's the devil. No. He's not the devil. Honestly, then you could get away. Use daughter, draw greater than his ability, cancel his game text, and then Han shoot him and get away with that. That would only cost you 8. You could also just drop Obi, swing, hit him, and draw 6 for Battle Destiny. You have to assume you're thinking about the Destiny draw getting canceled, though, right? So if you use daughter, you cancel the Prince's text. Now the Prince doesn't get a Battle Destiny. And then you shoot him to make him forfeit 0. So now you're 8 to his 5. He's forfeit 0. You draw. He cancels it. He still loses 3 cards if you go with the daughter Han route. Instead, he's going to go with the Obi daughter route. Okay. He's only got 3 left down, so he can't daughter and then, I mean, he could daughter, swing, and just not draw Battle Destiny, assuming it's going to get canceled anyway. That works too. He's going to play a barrier on the daughter, which is going to get grabbed. All right, that's a slight little hiccup. He'll still pick a fight. He'll still swing, draw 2 6s. Battle Destiny. Hey, surprise, it's 6. No cancel. stacks a card. He loses the Prince and owes 2 force. There goes another alien mob and a pod racer collision force push combo. Daughter got barriered. Joe will retrieve a card. Or does he want to just move, right? Since he's holding the run Luke run, it's not a huge risk for him to just move Yoda over in front of them. Is it something he needs to do at this point in the game? Probably not. I mean, it's strains of 1, 1, and 1. If he's trying to keep his differential and as high as possible for this match play situation. It looks like we're going to go to draw phase and he's just going to retrieve a card. He will opt to retrieve Yoda and pay 1. And he will stack another card. So while he's not retrieving one up his own differential, he is causing 1 extra point of damage to his opponent. There are like 7 cards stacked on I Field of Conflict now, so he could cross Vader if there was a Vader in this deck, which there's not. He'll drop a card from hand with Like My Father and pass the turn. Eric's got about 12 left face down. He's going to activate all of it. And then he's going to drain for 1, 1, and 1. We see Joe lose an extra copy of Luke, the Anakin Skywalker, and he'll top deck 1. That'll move the Prophecy. Okay. Eric's going to retrieve the alien mob. Again, just sort of just delaying things, right? He's stretching the game out. He's trying to just get 1 more turn of pings in if he can. We've already seen Joe lose the ship, so we don't expect him to take out the first light. You know, daughter stuck over there. I mean, obviously, yes, another Obi could come down, do his thing or whatever. There we go. Boba Fett to the Desert Heart. Again, just trying to spread on the board and cover as many sites as he can and just get 1 or 2 extra pings in here and there. He moves the alien mob over. To the audience chamber, and he's going to draw a couple cards. We can safely conclude now he's got the Gick because he's not crazy. And I'm going to also go on a limb and say he's probably got at least a Shattered Hope in hand by now, too, if he's going ahead and doing that. We got a quick look at Joe's hand as he drops a Jedi Levitation. He's also got a Hoojix in his hand. Corrin Horn and EPP Han. I don't know if that's regular Corrin or if that's Jedi Corrin. I didn't get a good look at the card title. I think it's just, I think it's original non-V Corrin. Which is reasonable. Reasonable to want to have a spy. He will drain for 2. With the Ahsoka. They're chatting about something with the lower Passages text. He is going to cancel that drain by stacking. Now this is a hot topic of discussion. Using a guy like this, especially when you're expecting the possibility of your opponent coming to battle you, using your guy to your once per turn stack to cancel the force drain, whereas you could stack to cancel the battle destiny, which can totally impact board position and control. There's been a lot of people discussing this on Slack over the last few weeks on both sides of the equation, between my kind of scum and agents in the court. And we see him go with a Jedi Lev to take into hand Obi, and Obi's coming right back down, right in front of Boba Fett there. How many Gicks does he have, right? Does he have 2? If you battle, you hit Fett, you swing, hit Fett, draw Destiny. You can't cancel it now. And then battle and beat up the alien mob. He won't have any cards to draw for Destiny, but he'll still outpower it. 11 to... Oh, he had 3 force left for a barrier. Okay. So he had a defensive card. Does Joe have a draw their fire now? Play draw their fire and go beat up on the alien mob? Alright, we'll just battle over there instead. He's got power 11. Can't do anything. Meditation makes him power -1. So the mob here is power 3. He swings, he hits. He plays the Gick, he sacks the card. You're just jumping right ahead. Or Joe didn't even swing. Joe just drew Battle Destiny? Yep. I guess we just jumped right to that step. Getting a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 cards left. But again, we know Joe has the Hoojiks in hand, so not the worst thing here. Move Yoda, block the drain. Maybe even move Daughter, block the other drain. Yep. Then he can put a card from hand down and then pay to retrieve one. He will attempt to retrieve a Jedi Lev by paying a force. And Eric's going to let that go. So Joe's going to get one more card back. He also has not Walklinged yet at this point either. He hasn't put Walkling does look to still be in play. Now if you're Eric, you're thinking to yourself, all right, what can I possibly do here? I've only got a couple of cards left. I can pay one to drain one. I can retrieve an alien mob, which I can then activate. So basically it's kind of like a free retrieval. He's going to ask for a count. Oh, I think he moved the card from the wrong pile. He used from his reserve deck instead of from his force pile. Looks like he's got about 7 active and 2 in reserve deck. Maybe even only 6. best case scenario for Eric is he drops another guy with Ortug and Proxima and battles and draws the 2 cards for Destiny. Because I don't know you get very far against Leia. Best case scenario is you lose the alien mob or Hondo, and he loses his daughter. I don't think that's the play Eric would go for, and I don't think it's worth doing because you want to keep the alien mob on the table. So I think Eric's best option here of trying to, take a card off the table potentially, just make Joe lose another card or two, is to... All right, so we look and we see it's a 4 and a 5. So put a card down with Proxima, battle Yoda. You're drawing 9 in Battle Destiny. Plus you've got 6 power there. And it's the Thok and the Thug, so that's 14 power, 1 to battle. So he's got 14 to 6. He's ahead by 8. Yoda only covers 7. He's also drawing 9 in Battle Destiny here. So he would get a couple of overflow here on top of Yoda. We do know Joe has the Hoojix, but we still have to make him actually play it. He draws the 1. He draws the Control Tunnel Vision for Battle Destiny here. There's the Hoojix. Save the math. Thok and Thug die. Yoda dies. You had to try, right? You had to try. Maybe he hasn't found it yet. Maybe it's been something that's been eluding him all game. Maybe he did something silly and put it back earlier for, thinking he didn't have enough left. Maybe it was the card he put down last turn, thinking, this should be good. I was surprised. I thought he had the Run Luke Run, but I guess not. And now you'll force Joe to actually do some damage here. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's still getting like 14 or 15 force, plus he's got 5 down, so he's got about 20 here and can obviously do some damage with drains. Even if he cancels Hondo's text, he'll still have enough ability there to get a Battle Destiny. And Boba Fett with Blaster over there. Doesn't get a Destiny draw or anything, so... Drains for 2 with Ahsoka. That moves that. Drains for 3 in the Audience Chamber. Eric's top decking a whole bunch here. Down to just a couple of cards left. 3 or 4 cards at this point. Seeing if he can't stretch it one more turn. Obi gets battle. Obi battles into Boba Fett. We're going to swing, and Jin and Luke will hit. He tries to shoot, draws the Zuckuss, and misses. He's going to put Wackling out of play to retrieve one while he can, because this could be game over. Battle Destiny is a 4. So he's got 9. Eric will lose the 4 he's got face down, and that'll be game 1. $22 for Joe in game 1 here. And they'll count up loss piles. We're going to pause it for a second. I'm going to turn a light on because it suddenly got darker here. And we're going to come right back with game 2 in just a second. All right, Star Wars players, we're going to pick it up here with game number 2. Looks like they're fixing the camera, which is awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. It's like they heard us. They knew there was a problem, right? Congratulations to whoever checked that out. My applause. Joe is playing Endor Operations. He did the any method necessary start for Fett and Slave 1, along with the Cloud City Security Tower. Eric is playing QMC. He used the computer interface to get the 1-0 site, and then he started with Keeping the Empire Out Forever and Belden's Eye All My Urchins combo. Joe's going to activate a few. He's going to go right into control phase, go look for with the objective either ominous or establish. Endor shield is also in there, which is going to get him going. You know, depending on what he pulls here, he has the possibility to just deploy right to Bespin, kind of go to space. He won the first game by 22. So if he can start leaning on his opponent a little bit, you know, QMC is a deck that, you know, consistently wins games, but it doesn't usually win by like 20 plus unless you've let it get to the point where it's got its celebration and Figure and Dan and all that other retrieval going, and it's kind of just covered the board um, and retrieved most of its lost pile. If you can kind of attack it early, where it's still a little more fragile, going to take a little time setting up, you can certainly whittle it down into the teens, and you know then Joe could either draw up and just end the game, um, or find a way to suicide himself in a battle, or maybe Eric would just concede at that point. So we'll see what exactly Joe's going to do here, but he certainly has, even if he doesn't go to Bespin, he could still just go right to Endor and just start draining for 2 there as well. If you're afraid of the Harksef or whatever else he might have in hand. But again, your opponent's only getting now with Endor shield out, this is canceled, so you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 for himself is 7. Harksef, Overseer, and something else for 7 force. Maybe a wild card, but no pilots then, unless you've got like Calfal for free from hand. You know, it's kind of a lot, and even then you're still in a bad situation because it's Boba Fett with Ozzel, so he's adding a Destiny, so he's getting 2, and Fett pulls a card, so Fett could go get you like an Imperial Command to add a 3rd Battle Destiny. Yeah, Joe's gonna drop the prison. He's gonna, yep, there's Fett, Slave 1, and Ozzel, right to Bespin. Come at me, bro, right? Just going to lean on him, see what happens. He's got 1/4 saved. He can even bluff a barrier. Not that necessarily needs it. I mean, if Eric has an alternatives to fighting in hand, like he could drop Harksef, go ground, maybe with some cheap guys, and flip if he can, and then just be like, all right, I'll just cancel the first battle. But chances are that's not where he's necessarily going. All right, so Hark was in hand. So they'll be -1 for the remainder of this turn. Yeah, but he's only getting 7. Yeah. And Joe's going to play a double back. Is he going to get Forlom? Dengar? I would assume Forlom. He's going to get Forlom. Yep. Double back's a good card. I like double back. He's going to go Harken Overseer to Endor. Okay. Playing the +1. They're -1 each from Belden's Eye, and then +1 for deploying to Endor. Pay 1 to go get a site. They both have grabber shields on the table. We'll probably see a battle plan come out from Eric here in a second to make Joe have to pay for that drain at 2. He's just kind of, Eric's kind of just stalling a little. He's trying to get himself moving, get the pieces out of his deck while he can find them. Hark also does give him an activation bump here for each non-battleground on table. So for the bunker and for the 2-0, he gets an extra extra 1 activation at each of those locations. So he's getting himself a little more force, getting his locations out on the table. There's the battle plan. Joe's only getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 for him is 10. And QMC has plenty of evasion, right? Usually they run 3 to 4 copies of barrier, plus then you've got 2 or 3 path, 2 or 3 rescue in the clouds. Couple copies of alternatives to fighting, or it's a trap and things like that. Very good at avoiding battles and fighting on its own terms. And we're going to get kind of a look through here at Joe's whole deck, which Eric pulls a little closer to him, I guess, so we don't show the whole deck to the camera. That's a good teammate right there, right? I mean, you can kind of see some of it as he's thumbing through it, but it's a good teammate to try and at least protect that information for you. All right. Does Joe have a second ship? Or is Joe just going to go ground? He's not going to pay to drain. He'll deploy Ominous. Okay, so what do we have here? So this is the virtual Ominous. Let's go look that up real quick. Oops, sorry. So the virtual Ominous Rumors. Deploy on bunker, immediately take any one Endor or Death Star icon card into hand from Force Pile, and he uses it to take the Emperor's shuttle. While an Imperial leader here, Force Generation is +1. If opponent controls bunker, place effect in use pile. So he's going to spend the 3, deploy the shuttle immediately to Endor. Eric's going to pull the Goldenrod shield to make him pay 2 to put the Emperor down. The Emperor does still come down. And he's got 4 left. I think that's Thrawn. So we're still looking at, 5 power, 2 battle destiny. Oh, he just says go. I guess that was all the force exactly that he had. I thought he got 10, but maybe he only did have 9. Or was there a barrier there? While I was looking up the card. Yep, he did play something. Okay, so was that a barrier? 3. Yeah, he barriered the shuttle. Okay. And Thrawn. Oh, because he took the card out of his force pile. He had 10, but Ominous, he didn't need to barrier it. Well, if he didn't barrier it, the Emperor might have still just battled. Probably not. Maybe he would have found a cheaper pilot to put on it. But Harksef is now a little bit in trouble here. Doesn't have a whole lot of place to go. He could land at the docking bay, I guess, is always an option, but not ideal. Usually, they land at the docking bay on Cloud City because then they can move inside to the 1-0. Being over here on Endor doesn't really leave him with a lot of options. But he does get a much better force activation this turn and could potentially flip. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 for him is 9, plus he got 2 from Hark. Puts him up to 11. He'll spend 1 to go pull his last... Oh, he pulls Osite. I don't know if it's his last one. He might have 1 more. He should have 1 more. And now let's see what aliens he gets in play. Oh, he's going the wild card. Okay. And Yoda. Pay 1 to move over. That'll flip because now he occupies the system and controls 2 sites. That's what the text is on keeping the Empire out forever. If you control 2 Cloud City sites and occupy the system, it flips. So he sets all that up, moves Yoda over to the docking bay for free using the site's game text, puts him on board as a passenger, and then takes off. So now what we're looking at up there in Bespin is now neither player can draw more than 1 battle destiny. He can still spin to get around that and draw an extra one. Hark would add a destiny to power. So it's you know, 7 plus a Power Destiny plus a Battle Destiny up against 8 and potentially a spin for, I think it's 5 for Slave 1. Yeah, it's maneuver 5. And that fet shouldn't, I don't think, adds to it. No. So he can spin a 5 and then draw a second Destiny. Or perhaps he'll just pay to drain with the Emperor for 2 at Endor and say go to the ground somewhere, set up, get around battle plan, set up some more damage. If he's got another ship in hand, he might just come right after this thing. Maybe something with a gun that could shoot the Overseer would be really good. Probably not in this deck, but again, you'd like to be putting the pressure on. So whether it's paying to drain. Nope, he's going to avoid paying to drain. Instead, he's going to drop 4 Lum to the bunker, put a card on the bottom, and draw something. You'd like to see him get somebody out and play to the ground. Eric saved 1. He's only getting about 12, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11. 1 for himself is 12. He's got 1 saved. I mean, obviously he could drop 2 or 3 pilots potentially now that he's flipped. Take 1 used pile, you know. I'm sorry, from force pile. Drop a couple pilots aboard that wild card and cause some damage. Or possibly just clear the whole thing. And Joe's going to weigh those options. Put a guy to the ground and just be like, I'm just going to drain for 2 and 1. Draw a couple cards, maybe. He's got a UR Beaten and an EPP Maul in his hand. That's what we can see for now. He's just going to start a battle. Okay. So nothing else to deploy here. He's just going to go right in and start the battle. Using Fett's game text, once per game, he'll go exchange a card from hand with any card he wants in his reserve deck. And it does look like he did take the short-range fighters combo. So he's going to spin for the first one to get a 5. And then he's going to blind draw a 7. Destiny to power was a Ketwall. Lando for Battle Destiny. Basically, it's 12 in attrition. It's going to be Yoda in the wild card. Gotta love blind draw on 7s. Whew. I mean, the spin for 5 was already pretty good. Anything more than just a couple on the second death. A 4 or higher was really all he needed there. Make sure to get rid of Yoda and the ship. Because I don't think he was going to give up Hark and the Overseer. Like, what's their forfeit? He's given up too much activation that way, too. Hark's forfeit 4. I think the Overseer is a 5. Yeah, so they would cover 9. He spun the 5 right off the bat. If he drew just a 4, I think he can't afford to lose the 2 activation. So, good battle for Joe. Not ideal for Eric. Obviously drawing low on both counts. He didn't get anything back. If he could have at least gotten rid of, you know, drawn a 5 or something, and well, it would have been Fett because Oslo doesn't cover. So could have at least made Joe do something and move. As it is now, the wild card's gone, Yoda's gone, and now Eric has to look at what are my other options. Am I just going to go ground? I'm already flipped, right? Am I going to go ground? I've got Ancient Watering Hole out. Did I pick up like an alternatives or some type of battle evasion situation here? He's got a rescue in the clouds in hand. I think we're going to get some characters being deployed here. Okay. There's a blue card in his hand too. Okay, there's a Maz. He'll reveal the top 3 cards. We see Leia's Transport, Menace Fades, and an Isla Secura. Yeah, can't quite make out what that blue card in his hand is. It could be a second transport. Could be like a Han Chewie Falcon. He's going to land. He's going to move. Okay. And he's just going to draw a couple, try and set up his hand. Obviously, he'll funnel a card next turn as well on Joe's turn. With Joe only activating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and still having to pay to drain, you know, he could activate 12, spend 6 of it, draining for 4, and then do what? He's got a smaller, fairly small hand. Maybe only about 7 cards or so over there. I would expect him to drain once, right? Put a little pressure, make your opponent lose 2 cards, and then potentially drops. Oh, he did draw a couple cards last turn. Okay, his hand's a little bit better than I thought. I do see a Blizzard 4 in there along with a Choke Vader and a Maul. So he certainly has some options. He does have some options here. Let's see what he can do. He is going to drain. It could be worse. Omnibox, it's worse. Grabber? Nope, none of the above. It could be worse as an annoying card in QMC because there's already like 4 cards you want to grab between, you know, barriers and alternatives to fighting and path of least resistance and rescue in the clouds and yeah, all kinds of other cards. To then have that one on top of it too. Yeah. Joe is going to stack it if only just to prevent him from continuing to cycle it and avoid damage mitigation for the rest of the game. And he will pay to drain in space. Okay. Eric loses the Hoojix and the Escape Pod combo, which would pull the Hoojix. There's an Endor site. I'm guessing Establish is out now somewhere. If Establish was out, the objective would be flipped. Maybe he just had the site in hand. All right, we got Dooku in front of Maz. -1, which is also nice because he controls Bespin. He will try to fight her. No response. Battle Destiny. Maz is completely immune to attrition. Destiny's -1. Ancient Watering Hole is not in effect as far as the modification goes, but Maz being completely immune to attrition is in effect. The Battle Destiny modification part is not, and the drain is not. So basically 7-3, so he loses 4 cards, I think. All right, this is where Eric has to make his move here. He's definitely in some trouble. Starting to fall behind on board position. Obviously, Joe's threatening drains of 4 now in space for free. So Eric's going to start with Maz Kanata's text. Review again, similar to Proxima we saw in the last game. He's going to take Yakshjit. He had his choice of a lot of cards there. We know he's already got Isla. He's going to pull some other stuff out of his force pile. You've got the option to get to transport, possibly, and then pull Ray for free. I missed what he took. Well, I missed which card he took because he kind of shuffled his hand right before he picked one up, but don't tread on me. Okay, to go get an effect. And he's going to get sand. Okay. I have to see where he thinks perhaps he's coming to fight. Maybe he's going to space, set up celebration. He stacks the other site, the one that cancels drains. Oof. And a local uprising. All right, so we're getting some people in front of Dooku. We've got Dean Djarin, we've got Yakshgit. And Isla Secura. So we're getting some extra battle destinies here. Going for the beatdown. And a Twaska. Oh, he can predict himself as the winner. He was going to initiate battle against Dooku. Dooku gets to go get either a Force Lightning or a Force Push. But he only has 1 Force left. If he had saved 2, obviously you just Force Push yourself out of the battle and then just be like, I'm good. But he only saved 1. Now, if he's got a Dark Time, he could activate 1 and then Force Push to end the battle. There's the Dark Time to activate the 1. Yep. Your action. I will pay 2 to Force Push to exclude. Which Eric is then going to read. I guess perhaps that's not the way he often plays that card. Just has to be guys of equal or lesser ability. Hark's going to move in. Hark's going to take off. Okay. And he will say go. Leaving that pile of guys right there in front of Dooku. He blocks the drain in space, so Joe's only going to drain for 2 over there at Endor. I don't think he's got enough to play in alternatives, but we know, obviously, with Sand, he can limit to 1 Battle Destiny. The Overseer's immune to less than 6. And he does have a Rescue in the Clouds in his hand that we did see, so he can at least play that to draw off Unable to Otherwise. the use part of that says, at a system or best bin location, cancel a just drawn destiny targeting the ability of your non-undercover character of ability less than 5, which is most of the time what we see that used for. The second part of that text says, though, or during battle, draw one battle destiny if unable to otherwise. So HITCO here would get the ability to draw the lost text that then also can come into play and cancel closed call. But that whole front part is all at a system or a best bin location. So rescue here, if he limits them to 1, he draws 1 if unable to otherwise. He's immune to less than 6. He's getting a destiny to power. Might actually end up winning that battle, unless Joe happened to pick up a second copy of short-range fighters, in which case then Hark and the Overseer are going to be gone as well. We knew Eric's back was going to be against the wall going into this game. There's the Dark Forest. There's a Darth Maul. I'm sorry, a Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. The Endor Dark Forest is, if you're Imperial present, Force Drain +1 there. So that's why Vader's at that particular site. Probably see Dooku slide away. I think you still have to battle into HITCO and make him prove it, right? Yep. He is going to pick up a card. He's going to play the Rescue to draw 1 if unable to otherwise, and he gets Destiny to power. Joe's going to 4-Llama card and hope it's a short-range combo. So, oh, he's going to go look. He's going to go look for a immediate effect. Does he play like an advantage or something? Or legendary starfighter? Not seeing it. I just see a whole lot of aliens. On the plus side, he's got Yoxkin on the table now, so he can go ahead and potentially redraw. Take one into hand and redraw it. All right, Destiny to Power is a 3. Probably let Dash go with that many characters. Yeah, he's going to let that one stand. And we'll get the Battle Destiny. He draws a Vader. Not ideal what he was looking for there. Eric draws a 4. He does have enough aliens on table now, so Ancient Watering Hole is back in effect. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 species. Yep. So his total battle destiny is +1 there as well. So that's basically a 5. So Boba dies. And I guess you'll see the Emperor and the shuttle move over to Bespin now. Dooku moves away. Nope, he's going to go the other way. Oh, he's just going to switch the ships. Okay. Okay. He's going to try and protect his drain. Keep, his damage output going with the drains of 2 and 2. And if need be, I guess he could always play a command to at least draw. Any methods to activate 1, saving 2 force. Nope, he'll pick 1 up. Okay. All right, so Watering Hole's active, so it's a drain of 2 here for Eric. Looks like we'll see some resolution to this game soon. Eric digging a card out after activating. He's got at least about 14 or 15 force there with which to work with. He does drain for 2. It's a Phantom Menace and a P-59, lost by Joe. Is that a Profundity? I think it's a foil Profundity. And it gets barriered. What else does he have? Three more. Is this Delaya's transport? Oh. It's going to put a Rio down, drop a card, and activate 2 force. Okay. So he's essentially blocking that drain for now. I guess he's looking for a docking bay with the objective. We see a handful of mixed bag between 3 or 4 characters and a couple of high destiny interrupts. I did not see a Ray in there. So if he was going to lay his transport, now he's going to use Maz. That'll take Maz into hand, getting rid of one of the aliens. Dash is still in there. Leia Rebel Princess is still in there. So he's improved his odds a little bit there. Six force. Han Chewie Falcon. Hey, it's Han Chewie Falcon. Going to Bespin. And he's going to pick a fight. He's going to pick up the last card he's got stacked. So he's getting 2 Destiny to power here. And then they're both drawing 1 Battle Destiny. And it's, what, like 12 to 4? Destiny to power is a 5. Destiny to power is a 3. He's going to take that into hand to redraw it. Draws Leia instead, so he's got 8. And then that's another 3. Which is +1 because he's got enough aliens. And Joe can't draw the extra one because of sand. So he's got a lot of power. Emperor and Thrawn together should cover. 8, 12, 20, 23 to like 7. Does Thrawn add 3? I think Thrawn adds 3. 23 to 8. Yeah, Thrawn adds 3. So that's 5 and... oh, it's -1 though. From... oh no. Yeah, Wuthering Hole. No, Wuthering Hole adds to light side. Doesn't subtract. Only subtracts if Maz is there. Yeah. So I had that backwards. Yeah, so 23 to 8 approximately. So 15. Emperor and Thrawn would cover, and then the shuttle could just run away to Endor, I guess. All right, my math might have been slightly off because Joe lost a card. So I guess my math was slightly off there. And then he'll shift some people over. Twaska. Yoxgit and Isla Secura all move over in front of Dooku. Din Djarin and Maz remain at the battleground. Lightside lost nothing in that battle in space. And now Darkside's the one that's losing board position, but they've certainly forced Lightside to commit a large number of cards to the table already. That it may only take one or two more turns of just a couple of cheap drains to actually pull ahead here. A rough count there when Eric was just thumbing through his deck. It looked like about 20. Plus one saved. So we're kind of right at that tipping point. You know? Joe's going to drain for 2 with Vader. He could potentially deploy another pilot. Sand has been exhausted. Like if he were to drop Maul here, right? And battle in space. Maybe play a command with Ozzel. Potentially draw 2 Destiny. Clear that whole Profundity thing. Run the shuttle away. And then just keep draining, you know. One, two, 3, 4, 10. I think he's at 19. So Joe picking up Establish again with the objective, which you just keep cycling back with 4 Lom. Smart move. Keep funneling cards into your hand. You don't necessarily need to flip your objective. Your opponent's not drawing more than 1 Battle Destiny so far. Put it down. Do you want to shuffle? No. Okay, good. He's got a Kylo, he's got a Maul, he's got some type of ship over there. He's got another Emperor. So Joe certainly has options here, and he is going to deploy something to the ground. It's Kylo. Okay. Kylo's going to Bespin. Ooh, he's got a You Are Beaten. He could battle. You Are Beaten. He's going to drop the Emperor up there in space. Okay. He can move Dooku over. Save the You Are Beaten for a defensive situation. Does he have enough force left? I can't really see. I think he's got 5 left down. Maybe only 4. I think he's got 5 there at least. It's a little hard because obviously he can just path somebody from the Dooku site over, right? So it's not like Dean is going to get hung out to dry completely by himself because he can always path into the battle. So Dooku's going to run away. The shuttle's going to run away. I think that's the safer play and the smarter play here. There's no real need. You know, Celebration's not on the table, right? Figure and Dance not on the table. Lightside has no retrieval going for itself right now. And you're already, like, at that threshold. So if you just keep making them chase you around, deploy more cards to the table, I think you're okay there. So drains a 2 and 1. He gets a Dark Lord of the Sith, an Emperor Shuttle, and a comm scan detection. Because Watering Hole adds at non-battlegrounds. Probably something that should be changed. Joe saved 3 force. So he'll kind of see what he's working with here in terms of any potential battle to then be able to play the You Are Beaten accordingly. Eric's still thinking about which card he wants to take. All right, now we're going to spend some force. It's dash. Ah. Just giving him an extra alien, an extra little character with some power. And 4 more. Okay, so there's Leia's resistance transport. He paid, I thought he paid +1 already, but I guess he did not. There's a Ray for free. That'll get him a used pile pull. And again, we're in a spot where Eric is winning board position. He certainly could win, likely could win this game at this point in time. But he's also at a position where he was already under the 22 number, and he's just put a few more cards on table and taken a couple more cards out of his deck, between taking Ray out of the reserve deck and now a card out of the use pile. There's Weather Vane. Okay. It's another card that could up his differential a little bit if the game drags on. For those of you who don't know, Weather Vane basically says every time you force drain or win a battle, you turn it 90 degrees. If it gets all the way around, you retrieve a card. Retrieve any one card. If opponent initiates a battle, you turn it backwards. So it's force drained or initiate battle. So it's just for picking a fight. So Kylo swung and hit dash. And he's got to lose a force. And now we're going to get a "You are beaten." And he'll exclude Din Djarin, so he only gets the 1 destiny draw. He's going to path Isla over. He's going to try and sense the path, which he will successfully get. Isla stays put. That's big. He'll lose 2 because somewhere under there, I guess, is do or do not. So only 1 battle destiny now. 5 and a 4 drawn. Oh, dash does subtract against an EPP. Okay, so he will draw and subtract. He draws a 4, which basically makes the battle destiny 0. Actually, it's even worse than that because it subtracts from attrition and total power. So the destiny draw was -1 from Maz. Kylo's going to cover, but because Kylo covers up to 12. I don't think we're at that. They were only 5, even with Watering Hole adding 2. Yeah. I think he just barely covers. But again, Eric's at the point now where he's just a few too low on terms of life force. He can move, he can move. He can bounce some people. He's just going to spread super thin and try and put the pressure on. Before he recirculates, we're going to draw phase. Oh, it's a voyeur. He's going to reveal the used pile, and he's going to grab it. I'm guessing he said rescue in the clouds. Well, maybe he said path. Either way, there's 2 copies of it, whatever. So normally you just play it lost, right? Whichever card he picked. I guess he said rescue. And Eric is just going to go ahead and concede at this point. Again, he's just too low on life force. He just lost 2 more cards. He's going to get drained for 2 more over here. Just not going to be able to retrieve enough before Joe eventually just draws up and scoops it. So congratulations to both players on making the top 8. An excellent, well-played match. Uh, Thank you all very much for watching. Look forward to getting more of these games uploaded. And congratulations to Joe on advancing to the next round. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.